Hi, my name is Steven and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about personal growth doesn't end, ways I'm still evolving in adulthood. The journey of self-development and growth for me is an ongoing process. A perpetual evolution as we navigate the complexities of adulthood. Reflecting on my journey, there's always avenues of potential growth for me to go through. And despite going through a lot of work in personal growth and development, I think that there's still more left for me to go. Because even if we might be in a good place, there's always room for improvement along the journey of our life. After almost 20 years of personal growth and development, I still find myself backtracking from time to time. And that has caused me to retreat into my younger self and behaving like I was in the past. In these moments, I thought I had overcome them, but at the end of the day, I'm surprised that I hadn't. While I've made strides along this path, I'm always humbled when I realize that I have more left to learn. And embracing this mindset of growth and continual journey is always something that has to be at the forefront of my mind. And have an unwavering commitment to the future of my personal growth and development journey. Because in the end, I want to be the best versions of myself and I have to do the hard work to go through and get there. So here are some of the ways that I found out that I still need to grow. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about my background, my evolution as an adult, and my general thoughts. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, hit that notification bell if you like this content. And here we go. As a child of a very turbulent family household, there was some really rough times. And growing up, it was hard for me to have a peaceful and loving childhood. This led to me being in my teens and early adulthood being really rough around the edges with certain people. And I really struggled to make friends and form good bonds after I moved out of my parents' house. It is then when I started to focus in on personal growth and development to try to better my life. And over the course of many years and decades, I slowly morphed into the person that I am today. Someone that's much better than in my early 20s, but still have much more room to grow. So recently, I discovered that even though I changed dramatically from my childhood self, I still contain some of the seeds from my childhood. And that childhood self still has not forgotten the things that happened back then. And the better person that I thought I was still at the end of the day that hurt child. So that means I still have a lot of room left to grow in my adulthood. So this video is an attempt to ground myself in the ways that I still need to improve upon. Because there's still an evolution of me in the future that is the ultimate apex. And as with any growth, it's going to take a lot of hard work over many years. This is something that I need to remind myself to keep striving for year after year. So here are some of the ways that I need more growth. Number one, the past is past. Personal growth during adulthood often involves acknowledging the past instances that made you who you are. But also it requires the ability of you to process, accept it, and move on from it. And if you can't do that, you might be stuck in the past and dwelling over those mistakes. And dwelling on past mistakes excessively will keep you trapped in the past. And definitely hinders your personal growth. Instead, we have to embrace lessons learned and foster moving forward and embracing what's in the past. And work towards more resiliency so the past doesn't hold us prisoners. By releasing that grip on the past, you can make sure that your future is unshackled from your past mistakes. This for me is personally very hard for me to overcome. I have a very good memory, so it's very hard for me to let go of the past. And in particular, focus on the present and the things around me. So when something negative happens, I tend to repeat the past over and over, and it takes me a very long time or maybe never to get over something. This had led me in the past and in the present to get stuck, focusing on past things far longer than I really anticipate. I think in the future I have to actively process the past and make sure I give myself enough time to do so. And make sure I'm addressing it in my mind so I'm not actively thinking about it over and over again. And this also prevents me from getting distracted in my daily life thinking about my past, so that I can work to be more focused in the present. So I need the past to stay in the past and not hinder my present or my future. Number two, emotions become us. Personal growth during adulthood means managing our emotions well. Because navigating life's complexities can throw all manner of emotions at us. And we have to sometimes at a moment's notice deal with it. By having the emotional intelligence and experience to guide us, we can be better prepared for it. And cultivate better relationships with other people when we're able to manage those emotions. So that means as a part of my personal growth, I've been learning to regulate my emotions better over time in the last 20 years. And that has helped me to build resiliency through many challenges and hardships in my life. And overall, it's given me a healthier mental well-being. I think this is one of the biggest keys of where I am today, the ability to be more level-headed than before. And ultimately, I think this is where I need the most help to have more emotional stability going forward. Because whether or not this is in personal or professional space, emotional well being helps all around. To be human is to be surrounded by emotions, sometimes too strong for you to handle. And these are the times where I need to make sure I rein that in and regulate my emotions. I sometimes don't try hard enough to experience other people's emotions and figure out what's going on with them. And when I'm in that interaction with that other person, I just focus on my feelings and what I'm feeling and going through at the time, which in the relationship can result in hurt feelings all around. Moving forward, I think it's important to accept the emotions and feel through them, but also take a step back from them. And making sure that you have time to process your emotions without it being more volatile. In this case, I want to focus on just focusing on one person's emotions at a time, myself or the other person. But either way, making sure that emotions are regulated and I have time to process them. So something to work on in the future is managing my emotions more effectively. Number 3, timeless work. Personal growth during adulthood acknowledges that time is a valuable component to the growth process. Because once you have the necessary time, it will allow for a lot of introspection and reflection on yourself. Because personal development depends on you knowing your flaws and areas of improvement. And all meaningful progress depends on time in reflection. And it's also important to recognize that hard work over a length of time gets you where you need to be a better self. It's not just doing a little bit of hard work just for a day or two. It needs to be a sustained effort. And that's the journey that you undertake whenever you're trying to improve yourself. By embracing the significant time in the growth journey, you can vastly change who you are and put you on a path of self-improvement and fulfillment. I think that in the last couple of years, this has definitely hindered my personal growth and development. I just don't have enough free time because of my job to do a lot of self-reflection. And that means that it has limited my potential growth. Like with all things in life, you need to practice at something in order to get better. And spending time in reflection is something that I've atrophied over the last couple of years. Nothing comes without work, and you can't self-reflect in a short amount of time. You need a sustained effort over a long period of time. The more busy I am, the less my mind is able to tackle my own flaws, and the harder it is for me to try to improve on that. The solution is actually quite easy for me, but the implementation is extremely hard. The solution is to give myself more time for the self-growth process. Implementing that is incredibly difficult because of my taxing schedule, but that means I do have to schedule blocks of time in my life for self-improvement. Where that time is going to come from is going to be very hard, but it might be at the detriment to this YouTube channel. But it is critical to my personal growth and development journey, so it might be worth the risk. So I got to put that time into my own growth. And number 4, stumbling happens. One thing that's true about personal growth is that it's never linear. Setbacks are a natural evolution along the journey of your personal growth and development. Despite our best laid efforts, things don't always go according to plan during our journey. Personal growth is very messy. There is no clean way to improve upon yourself. You might go into your personal growth journey wanting to improve that one thing, but then through self-reflection, you realize there are 3 additional things that you need to work on before you get to your one thing. That means those 3 additional things are setbacks. But that's completely normal and part of your growth journey. It's important for you to embrace those setbacks and just push ahead forward through them. And once you go through it, that means you're a more resilient person. And ultimately, it helps you carve more self-awareness and maturity. Stumbling through personal growth is not new to me, but lately, over the last couple of years, I seem to have less patience for it. The challenges that I'm overcoming are not necessarily building strong resilience in me. As we all know, life is not easy when you're trying to get to the top. And recently, an event happened in my life that caused a fair bit amount of setback within my personal life. This was something out of the blue and affected me deeply from my childhood. And it's something that's going to take me a lot of times and probably setbacks as I recover from this. I have to take this in stride and figure out my path to work through this event. I just can't sit and wallow through it. I have to physically deal with it and become that resilient person once again. I just have to be strong and remind myself that setbacks happen all the time and it's absolutely normal. So remember that growth is not a linear process and setbacks will happen from time to time. So here are my general thoughts on growing more. My journey through personal growth and development wasn't easy, and honestly, I didn't think it was going to be so hard to do. The journey has been more difficult, taxing, and challenging than I ever thought possible. There are so many times along my journey that I had to face difficult choices and persevere through them. And also philosophically, I had to die many times in order for me to become a new person. The past versions of myself had to be shed in order for that new person to grow from it. And during each evolution, I lost a bit of my old self. I had to be essentially reborn multiple times since my childhood. And then even in my adulthood, I have to constantly reinvent myself and go through the rebirth process. And with growth comes death. Not literally, but figuratively. Because every time you go through the reborn process, you're mourning the life you had. And sometimes even the people that were in your past life. Sometimes the people that you were with in a past life can't follow you into your new life. You have to leave them behind. This is the dark side of the growth journey that nobody really wants to talk about. That in order for you to better yourself, you have to get rid of the things that were negative about it. And sometimes that might include friends, families, and loved ones. So just be aware that through the growth process, you can eventually outgrow the people in your lives as well. So those are some of the ways that I still need growth in my life. Personal growth in life is a continuous process if you choose to pursue it. It's a very non-linear path and it has more hurdles and challenges than you think it might. Ultimately, I think personal growth and development journey is critical to being your best self. My life has gained a lot of success because I spent the last 20 years growing myself. But after encountering a recent setback, I still realize that I have much more progress left to go. So I'm reminding myself of the keys that I need to look out for to continue my personal growth journey. So I hope this video helps you along your own personal growth and development journey. So thank you for watching. Please leave a comment down below on what are your thoughts on personal development and what's one thing that you want to personally get better at. And I'll see you next time.